Welcome to the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. The Polytechnic University of the Philippines is a government higher educational institution governed by Republic Act No. 8292, known as the Higher Education Modernization Act of 1997, and its implementing rules and regulations contained in the Commission on Higher Education Memorandum Circular No. 4, Series of 1997. PUP was established in 1904 as Manila Business School. In 1908, it was renamed as Philippine School of Commerce or PSC and merged with Philippine Normal School from 1936 to 1946. Through the virtue of Republic Act 778, PSC was renamed to Philippine College of Commerce or PCC in 1952. On April 1, 1978, PCC was converted into the Chartered State University, now known as the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 1341, issued by the President of the Republic of the Philippines. For more than 100 years, PUP has been a partner of the government in providing quality, globally competitive, and industry-responsive education to bright, deserving students.
Pinakamura ang matrikula sa PUP.
Pinakamababang tuition sa buong bansa, 12 pesos kada unit.
With the lowest tuition for tertiary education, qualified faculty members, efficient administrative staff, goal-oriented leaders, and industry-responsive curricula that is at par with international standards, PUP has earned a reputation of one of the country's top higher education institutions. As an epistemic community, PUP is consistent with its commitment to produce quality graduates in various fields of specialization, working toward its goal of becoming the first national polytechnic university in the country. With 22 branches and campuses spread across Luzon, serving more than 70,000 students, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines offers more than 80 programs in the graduate and undergraduate levels. It also offers distance learning through the Open University system, technical and professional programs in the area of business and distributive arts, education in the social sciences related to the fields of commerce, business administration, and other polytechnic areas. The commitment of its leadership, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and partners has formed the cornerstone of this university that has exceeded expectations with every generation of the graduates it has produced since its establishment. Today, PUP has gone far from what it was more than a century ago, but what remains is PUP's mission to continue to be the government's partner in nation building and in poverty alleviation of the marginalized sector of society. With quality, responsive, and relevant education as a tool. PUP, the first polytechnic university.
Man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me, and all my days have been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Hi, I'm Engineer Florinda H. Oquindo, Director of the Alumni Relations and Career Development Office. The role of our office is to keep connections among students and alumni, provides complete range of services to students, alumni, and employers in the area of career development, graduates and professional schools preparations, employee relations, and campus recruitment. We also provide alumni and students with the tools and resources to help find success in all professional endeavors. To all freshmen, please come and visit us. Our office is located at N209 North Wing, 2nd floor.
Okay, so isang magandang umaga sa ating mga kaisko at kaiska na nandito ngayon sa atin via Zoom. So, kumusta ba ang lahat? Diba? So, sana despite na mainit, so stay yourself na hydrated, diba? Lagi niyong tatandaan, health is wealth. So, wag na wag kayong magpapawala ng water. At syempre, kung kaya niyong maghanap ng shaded portion, kung nasa labas man kayo, do that. Just for your health at para naman po sa mga estudyante na naka-on-site ngayon, ingat po kayo, lagi niyong protektahan ng sarili niyo kasi sobrang init. So, stay lagi na hydrated at may baong tubig or kung hindi man, 'di ba? Mag-dress comfortably. Huwag naman masyadong comfortably na mukha kayo nasa bahay pag nasa labas except kaya niyong i-carry, 'di ba? So, just dress yung comfortably at sa tingin nyo ay angkop at nararapat para sa inyo. So again, this is Professor Jane S. Pulma of the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office, and I will be your moderator for today's event. So the role of our office is to provide connection in the area of career development and placement, and at the same time, we serve as the link para sa ating industry partner at sa academe or sa inyong mga estudyante para tulungan kayong ilapit sila sa inyo, 'di ba? Hindi na po ito yung kagaya dati na kailangan natin nung time namin kailangan namin pumunta pa sa Makati, pumunta kung saan yung place of the industry partner para maghanap or mag-inquire kung may available OJT or may available employment na pwede naming pasukan. Sa panahon ngayon po, ang ginagawa natin is nililink na po o nilalapit na po namin kayo sa ating industry partner na nandito ngayon. So, meron tayong dalawang industry partner who will share with us yung mga topics such as sustaining the mindset for better future, and at the same time, mamaya i-discuss din po yung tungkol sa Surviving in Boardroom, a real-world strategy guide ng Rayumar Management Inc. at ang East West Banking Corporation. So meron tayong dalawang medyo mabibigat na industry partner na nandito ngayon para tulungan tayo, especially the fourth year. At sana itong mga bagay or itong matutunan nyo ngayon ay magamit nyo hindi lang professionally but also personally. Diba? Okay, so pero bago ang lahat, syempre, let me discuss first our webinar etiquette. Okay. So, dahil dyan, meron tayong dalawang participants sa event na to. So, una, yung ating participants po via Zoom. So, please remember to keep your microphone always on mute. And, syempre, yung camera na rin natin para at least at the same time, makasave kayo ng bandwidth or ng data, 'di ba? Alam ko yung iba naka-data lang po. Yung iba naman mapapalad naka-wifi, pero syempre para medyo maiwasan natin na mag-lag kayo or anything else nyo habang nasa connection, pwede nyo pong i-mute yung inyong microphone at nakamute naman yan upon entry yung inyong mga camera while the webinar proper is ongoing. And always to remember that this webinar is currently on live stream. Dahil naka-live po siya, syempre, 'di ba? Yung ating yung ating interaction insight is live ding mapapanood mamaya sa ating mga stream participants. So, meron tayong Q&A portion. Pwede kayong mag-raise ng hand. Pwede rin naman kayong gumamit ng ating mga emoticons and icons na nasa Zoom available. Pwede rin naman kayong gumamit ng ating Zoom chat. Kaya by the way, i-address naman po natin lahat ng questions, insights, and suggestion nyo during our question and answer portion, or minsan po, the speaker wanted to have an active and lively interaction with their participants. So, para naman sa ating stream participants, syempre hindi ko pwedeng kalimutan ng ating mga nakaantabay sa PUP Career Center Facebook page. So, syempre, 'di ba? Pwedeng nyo gamitin po ang comment section ng live na ito. You just have to state your name, your course, and section. By the way, monitor din po namin at isasama namin syempre yung mga insights nyo, suggestion, and question during the Q&A portion. So, para sa lahat, syempre hindi natin pwedeng kalimutan dahil nagbigay kayo ng oras, panahon, or pagkakataon, pwede nyo pong i-accomplish ang evaluation form na ipa-flash natin sa ating Zoom chat or sa comment section ng live na to para magkaroon kayo ng digital certificate. So, syempre, di ba, may digital certificate siya na ibibigay lang namin at the end of the session. By the way, yung pong ating certificate will be released 2 to 3 weeks after the conduct of this webinar. And syempre, it will be accessible 6 hours after the webinar. Pero by the way, minsan, we give leeway hanggang mamayang hapon po. Open po ang link natin. Pero isa lang po ang reminder na hihingi namin sa inyo, baka po pwede na maayos nyo pong ilagay dun sa evaluation link yung inyo pong pangalan, yung buong pangalan nyo para po sa digital certificate nyo. Kasi po, hindi namin na po mauulit yung certificate nyo kasi once na pinasok nyo po doon ay maling pangalan kasi finalize na po yun. So, again, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. 'Di ba? So, yan na po ang ating etiquette ng activity na to. So, syempre, hindi ko pwedeng kalimutan or hindi ko po pwedeng hindi ipakilala ang ating speaker for today's event. So, actually, hindi ko ipapakilala si ma'am. Sila ma'am Jel na po ang gagawa nun. Ang kailangan ko pong ipakilala sa inyo ay ang industry partner na nandito ngayon para i-share ang kanilang expertise and experience. So, okay. So, our industry partner is one of the Philippine major universal bank founded in 1994 who known as with the great focus on consumer banking and partnership driven approach but which is a part ng isang magandang company rin which is PhilInvest. So it operates more than 400 branches and 580 plus ATM. So they are top tier credit card issuer well as auto loan provider. So let's welcome East West Banking Miss Bridget Bantayan. Ma'am Bridget,
Hi, good morning.
good morning, ma'am. Guys, papalakpak naman kay Ma'am Bridge. Ayan na, ma'am. So, ma'am, sa inyo na po ang ating virtual floor.
Thank you. Wait, let me just share my screen. Okay. Ayan. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible na po.
Okay. Ayan. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope I'm very, you can all hear me. Good morning and good morning to everyone joining us on Zoom and also for those of us watching in Facebook Live. Good morning then and wherever you are watching from. My name is Bridget Bantayan. I am the Sustainability Officer of East West Banking Corporation. And today, I have one word I want to leave with you. And that's just one, and it's already in the title of my presentation, and that is people. And let me show you why it changes everything. But before that, I want to, I don't know, have a pulse check. When you hear the word sustainability, what comes to your mind? So for those of us joining on Zoom, if you can try to drop your answers sa chat so I can just gauge where you're at or your understanding of what sustainability is. Sige, I'll give you 5 seconds lang. Long-term benefit, that's true. Okay, so thank you. Social equity. Yes, that's true as well. And thank you so much. So usually when we talk about sustainability, usually it talks about long-term benefit and also social equity, but it also talks about trees, tumblers, recycling, and of course some corporate report that I don't know, nobody finishes. But these are honest answers. And they tell us something. For most people, sustainability feels like it lives somewhere else in the forest or in factories or in boardrooms with sustainability departments. But it's not here, not in a student's life. And I want to spend the next 40 minutes proving that wrong. Because sustainability is already happening inside your life. You may not just have had the language for it. And by the end of this, I think you will see that you're not an outsider of to this conversation. You are exactly who it needs. Now, why does people matter so much here, especially here in the Philippines right now? Because in this country, sustainability has never been an abstract. It arrives at your door. Actually, UNICEF have reported from 2016 to 2021, 9.7 million children or Philippines have been and mental hazards. That is the highest number in the world. And that is not a statistic about somewhere else. That is us. Filipino youth report among the highest eco-anxiety levels globally. And when researchers ask young Filipinos what they worry most about, the answers are climate, education, health, and jobs. Those are not distant policy issues. That is the texture of daily life here. And I think that matters because it means Filipino students are not coming to sustainability from the outside, wondering if it applies to them. You are already inside it, you are living it. What this talk can offer is a framework for what you already know. So, if we're already living it, what do we do with it? How do we turn what we feel, what we observe, into something useful? This is where I want to bring in the work of Dr. Isabel Rimanozzi, a researcher whose framework I found genuinely exciting. Her central argument is this: before sustainability becomes a strategy, a program, or a report, it starts as a mindset, a way of seeing. She defines it as a way of thinking and being, grounded in the understanding that world around us, sensitivity to other people, and honest reflection on our own values, expressed through choices that serve something larger than ourselves. As you can see here, mindset shapes choices, and choices shapes impact. What I love about this, it puts a starting point inside the person, not inside the institution or the policy. It says you do not need permission to begin. You begin by deciding how you see. And for accounting and finance students specifically, the numbers you will work with, the reports you will write, the recommendations you will make, all of that will be shaped by how clearly you see, what you decide to count, what you refuse to ignore. Dr. Iminozzi has 12 principles in total. I will give you the 4 clusters they fall into, not as a list to memorize, but as a map you will keep recognizing throughout this talk. So as you can see here, first is awareness. See clearly, knowing what is actually happening in the world and your honest role in it. Next is connections. Think in systems. Nothing important happens in isolation. Learn to trace the threads. Next is inner work. Grow inwardly. The decisions you make are only as good as the people making them. Meaning, that's also live with depth. Build a life with a direction, not just a career with a trajectory. These 4 principles or clusters will keep showing up in duration of my talk. So watch out for them. But before we proceed, I just want to put into context when I talk about people, what people actually mean. Because people get said a lot. And it usually said loosely, and I want to be precise. People means dignity. We're not talking about users, not stakeholders, not headcounts, but persons who whose lives have worth and that cannot be reduced to a metric. People also means inclusion, which is really a design question. Who did we think of when we built this? Who did we forget? And also, people means well being. And I'm not talking about the absence of harm, but the actual presence of health, belonging, and possibility. And lastly, people means agency, the power to shape your own life, not just endure what the systems hand you. And that is the standard. And it is one worth holding every institution to, and that's including ours. So, what does it look like in practice? And I want to use East West Bank as our case study because it's the institution I know from the inside and because I think it illustrates something important. East West Bank is part of the Philinvest Development Corporation, one of the Philippines' long-standing conglomerates. The group includes East West Banking Corporation, that's the parent, and we also have East West Rural Bank and East West AGS, which extends services into communities mainstream banking often overlooks. And here's the framing I want you to hold. In this conversation, a bank is not neutral. Every decision it makes, who it lends to, what it asks of borrowers, how it designs its products, who it hires and develops, shapes how we live. Money determines whether someone finish school, start over a crisis, and build something that lasts. If money shapes lives, banks shapes futures. The question is whether that shaping is intentional and people-centered or accidental and extractive. At East West, we are working toward intentional. When you apply people lens to banking, three things come to sharp focus. First is access. For millions of Filipinos, basic financial services are still not a given. A safe place to save, a loan that does not trap them, or a way to send money or receive money without losing a significant portion to fees. That gap is not accidental. It is the result of design choices. And it can be changed by design choices as well. Next is empowerment. Access is only the beginning. People need products they can actually understand, trust, and use in a way that helps them move forward. Not just products that exist, that requires institutions to meet people where they are. And lastly, dignity. The way an institution treats its customer is a statement about how much it values them. Clear terms, respectful service, honest information. These are not extra. They are the baseline of what it means to see someone as a person. Access, empowerment, and dignity. That is people applied. And East West organizes its approach to financial empowerment through a framework called WAIS. Four goals that together define what people first banking looks like in practice. First is work, enabling more people to access livelihoods and employment pathways. Next is access, making bank genuinely reachable in language, in location, and in design. Income, helping people not just earn, but grow their earning power over time. And lastly, security, protecting people from financial shocks and giving them a path back when those shocks come anyway. So that's why is work, access, inclusion, income and security. And here's something I want to say directly to finance and accounting students here. Financial security is not a separate conversation from human dignity. When someone is financially fragile, every other decision they make becomes harder. Education, health, even ethical choices get squeezed by immediate pressure. Financial empowerment is one of the most direct expression of people pillar. If you go into finance, you will have more influence over this than you might think. And that's just coming from your first year in the industry. But for us, it East West, WAIS is not just a framework on a slide. It takes shape through three concrete programs, each designed around a specific community. We have our first program that targets teachers, Guru Wise. East West serves more than 200,000 teachers as our clients. The goal is not just to offer them products, it is also to help them become financial wellness champions for their families and communities. A financially stable teacher shows up differently for her students. That is a ripple effect built into the program's design. And second, we have the SMEs, owners, and aspiring entrepreneurs. Small businesses are the backbone of Filipino communities. Helping them access capital and build financial literacy does not just strengthen one business, it creates jobs, build local resilience, and gives family a more stable foundation. And lastly, of course, we're not looking far. The last program is for our own employees. East West Banker WAIS. More than 8,000 East West staff because financial inclusion cannot be a message we send outward while our own people are not experiencing it. So it starts in the inside. We invest in one person's ability and we watch how far it will travel. That third program, actually, for our employees, points to something I want to make explicit because I think it is also one of the most honest tests of whether an organization actually mean what it says. People first has to start inside the building. At East West, employee development and wellness is a formal sustainability priority, not a side program. This continuous learning, so people stay capable and relevant. We also have mental health support that is real and not performative. Work-life balance that is actually respected in practice, not just written in an HR policy. For you, as future professionals, this matters because you will be evaluating organizations and they will be evaluating you, of course. And one of the sharpest signals of whether an institution has genuine values is how it treats its own people. Does it develop them? Does it protect their time and energy? Does it reward growth, integrity, and care? Or is it just only focus on output? You are allowed to ask this question. And honestly, I would highly encourage that you do it fast. You do it early and often. But let me bring the East West story together before we move to you. A financially stable teacher is more present in the classroom. An SME owner who understands their number builds something that lasts and creates jobs in the process. An employee who feels genuinely supported serves the person across the counter more care and attention. None of this stays where it starts. It moves. Stability spreads. Capability spreads. When dignity is built into how a system operates, it tends to multiply quietly, steadily across household and communities. That is what people first looks like at scale. Not one big gesture, it is a series of deliberate investment in people that together create something more durable than a single program. And here's what I want you to take from this. The professionals who make it happen are not extraordinary. They are people who decided to pay attention. People exactly just like you. So given all this, what does it mean for you specifically? Three things, and I want to say them plainly. Um, First is the institution you join will shape people's lives, regardless. Regardless of the institution, and this is not eventually from the beginning. Banks, audit firms, hospitals, government offices, whatever, startups even. Every organization has a people impact, whether it's tracked or not. When you join one, you become part of how it touches the world. And when you join it, you own that early, that you're contributing to that impact. Okay? And two, inclusion is a design choice, not a value statement. When you, I don't know, when you build a report, write a policy, design a process, or even when you lead a team, you are deciding who gets considered and who does not. You will have more influence over that more than you think, and sooner than you think. You think it will just happen like 50 years from now, 10 years from now, 30. No. When you join that institution, you also provide influence to that. And lastly, three, you do not need a sustainability title to practice this. So you don't need to be like me, a sustainability officer, to practice sustainability. Whether you're an accountant, an auditor, in financing services, a data analyst, a receptionist, a hotel clerk, regardless, each and every one of these disciplines has a people dimension. What gets matched, and I want you to remember this, what gets measured gets changed. You will be in the room where that gets decided. And honestly, you are already in that room. The question is how you choose to show up. Now, Dr. Manozzi has a principle, and I think it's genuinely useful for navigating your career. She calls it both end thinking. It is the ability to refuse false choices, to look at what seems like a trade-off and ask, is this actually a trade-off, or is there a third option I have not found yet? And because here's what I want to push back on. The idea that ambition and caring about other people cannot live in the same person, that you have to choose one over the other. It should be it's clear here. It should not be success over service, but excellence and empathy. It's not career or choices or conscience, sorry, but ambition and responsibility. And lastly, it's not profit over people. It's growth and dignity. Both are possible. And honestly, the best version of this both requires each other. And the professional I most respect are not the ones who choose between or who chose between being good at their work and being good to people. They're the ones who refuse to accept that choice and found a way to be both. That is the kind of professional the future needs. And it is well within your reach. Before we close, I want to say something about the inner dimension of all of this. Dr. Imanozzi's framework includes principles of of reflection, self-awareness, mindfulness, and purpose. And I do not think of these as soft additions to sustainability conversation. I think of them as the engine underneath it. Because here's what I have observed, okay? The people who do this work sustainably, who stay curious and effective and genuinely motivated year after year, yung mga hindi na burnout, ganyan, are the ones who know themselves well and who reflect honestly, who have clear enough sense of purpose that it guides them when things get complicated. That's not a personality type, it's a practice. And you can start building it now. Sustain yourself so you can sustain change. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, the future does not need burned out idealists. It needs it needs grounded, energized people who have built inner stability to stay in the work for the long run. And that can be you. And one more thing, because I think it matters on how we carry our work. We reach for international frameworks when we talk about sustainability, you know. When you join the corporate world or the government, you'll hear these jargons of international standards and international principles like ISO, GRI, um, and IFRS, other frameworks. And honestly, they have values. They have value, and but I want to highlight that we also have one our own. And I think we should bring them into the room. First is pakikipagkapwa. The recognition that another person's humanity is inseparable from your own. That is the foundation of any people first approach. Next is bayanihan. It's a recognition that hard things are better carried together. That is community level systems thinking practiced for generation. Malasakit. Care that does not stay as a feeling but becomes action. That is the link between mindset and impact. Discarte. And I think this is kind of very unique to Filipinos, the creative problem solving ability under constraint. That is innovation born from necessity, and it is something Filipino professionals bring to every room they enter. And lastly, pananagutan. This is something I firmly believe that everyone should realize and should hold themselves to. It's responsibility. The understanding that what you built, you are accountable for, regardless of what it is. Whatever it is you built, you are accountable to it. These are not decorative, they are strategic, and they are already in you. We do not need to borrow someone else's language to do this well. We can understand it on our own. We have our own terms for it. So actually we're near our close, but I want to say something directly. You are living into a moment that is genuinely uncertain. The job market, the economy, the climate, even the future of the profession you have trained for. There's an ongoing war. Um, and there's also the digital revolution. AI AI have been introduced to a lot of uh, businesses and operations. So I understand it's that kind of uncertainty is unnerving. And in this level of uncertainty, it is tempting to narrow your focus. You know, alam mo yung kailangan mo lang lampasan 'to. Yung that ideology na parang I just need to survive one more year. So you just narrow your focus to just get through to decide that bigger questions can wait until you're more established, you're more secure, you're more ready, when you already have a job, things like that. I want to invite you not to wait, not because the world needs saving and it can only be you to save it. No, of course not. But because the professional you become is built incrementally from the choices you make when it would have been easier not to think about them. Right now, when you're uncertain, remember I said earlier that it's a it's a design by choice. How you design yourself. So the question is not, will I work in sustainability? So it's not that, of course not. The question is, when you build something, who benefits from it? When you do a project or when you do a proposal, who might be left out by the designs you helped created? What kind of professional is my ambition creating? Starting now. Because right now, I want to return to the both and thinking. Right now, you can choose for honor and excellence. So it's not o- for um for just choosing both to for conscience and all these kinds of values to be part of who you are as a person, because the future is worth building, and I honestly believe that the Philippines is worth building, and it needs people who believe that, from inside of every institution, every spreadsheet, and every decision. And that is you. That has always been you. And I want to leave you with one last thing. Caring about people, really caring in the way that shapes how you work and how you become, is not a liability in your career. It is one of the most powerful things you can bring to it. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. People first, not as a slogan, as a way of seeing, as a way of working, as a way of building the future and meaning it. Thank you, PUP, and thank you everyone in Facebook Live. Go build something worth being proud of. My contact information is here if you have questions.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Ma'am Bridget. So guys, may tanong po ba tayo kay Ma'am Bridget sa East West? Sige, pwede kayong mag-type sa ating chat box. So, sustainability is something new. By the way, ngayon po siguro as we enter sa SGD, di ba meron na tayong SGD or Sustainable or Global Goal for Sustainable Development. Talagang medyo doon na ang tutok ngayon ng lahat ng ah, projects and activities. So, 'di ba? Kung i-discuss natin ang sustainability goal, dito pumapasok yung no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean air and sanitation, affordable health and affordable and clean energy, meron din silang decent work and economic growth. And marami pang iba. So actually, we do have 17 global goal for sustainable development. So, dyan na, nandito na tayo sa era ng sustainable development. Ito na yung nangangalaga tayo at pinapangalagaan natin hindi lang ang ating sarili at nagko-consume tayo ng earth resources, kung hindi pinapangalagaan na rin natin ang ating hindi lang bayan, kung hindi ang ating mundo first. Ginigising na tayo. 'Di ba? So guys, meron po ba tayong tanong para po sa ating speaker? Tingnan nga natin, ma'am. Okay, pataypuan nga kung lising pa ang ating mga estudyante na nandito ngayon. Check nga natin. Baka naman natulog na sila or naglalaba o nagpa-plancha dahil nga online po tayo ngayon. Mukhang hindi pa. Mukhang nag encode lahat pa ma'am sila. So, ibig sabihin, nakinig sila sa inyo at nakinig sila sa topic na dinidiscuss nyo. 'Di ba? So, Miss Joanne, may gusto po ba kayong sabihin sa ating mga estudyante as part ng East West Banking?
First and foremost, can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Oh, may feedback, ma'am.
Ma'am, palayo na lang po yung speaker na malapit sa inyo o pa-mute yung isang device.
How about now? Better po ba?
Yes, ma'am. Better po.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone who is in Zoom, who is in Facebook Live for joining this call. We really appreciate opportunity to talk with the PUP population. So we just wanted to thank you again for allowing East West to present you and wanted to share no na I'll put it in the chat also in case you want to get in touch with us, in case you want to know more about our internship, our full-time career opportunities. You can follow us in LinkedIn. We'll also share with you our career portal. Hopefully you see that East West is an employer of choice, that you're able to envision a future in banking. Please get in touch with us in case you have any questions about, how we can help you explore an opportunity in banking. Thank you again po, Miss Jane, and for the rest of everyone joining us in today's call.
Okay. Ma'am, any last word, Miss Bridget?
Thank you again for letting us join, and I'm excited to see you in if ever someone would be joining us in the future, we'll see you around. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, 'di ba? By the way po, aayusin po natin ang internship MOA with East West para at least 'di ba lalo na dun sa ating mga financial management and accountancy at gusto mag-venture ng kanilang career sa ating banking sector, puwedeng-puwede po 'yun. So tingnan na lang natin, ayusin namin yung MOA natin or ah, check po natin kung ano yung mapapag-usapan namin ni Miss Joanne, namin po ng with ARCDO, with Miss Joanne, kung paano po natin aayusin yung mas magandang engagement with East West. Okay. So, yan. Trinag na ni Miss Joanne yung kanilang website sa ating pong Zoom chat. Pwedeng-pwede nyo pong check yung kanilang website. And at the same time po, para sa ating mga estudyante na nandito ngayon, lalo na sa financial management, management accounting, and BS accountancy, syempre, tingnan nyo at consider the opportunity given us by our industry partner. So maraming salamat, East West, and I hope to see you po again on our next webinar po. So, 'di ba? Bago yung ating mga topic ngayon, sustainability. So ngayon naman, pwede na po ba tayong dumako? Nandito na po ang ating next speaker. Thank you, ma'am. Maaga tayong natapos for the first speaker. Maraming salamat, Miss Joanne. Maraming salamat po, East West. Okay, so for our next industry partner, dahil wala na po tayong tanong, puntahan na po natin ang ating next speaker. So our next speaker, or next industry speaker, is one of the prominent Filipino investment and management holding company headquartered at Makati City. So actually, this company is founded by Chairman Ramon Garcia, a company that operates in shipping, crewing, logistic, and trade and service sector. So let's welcome our next industry partner, Rayumar Management Incorporation, Dr. Charibel Espejo, to discuss about surviving the boardroom. So, pwede na po ba natin silang bigyan ng isa again na masigabong palakpakan? Okay, so good morning, Ma'am Espejo.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear po. You may take away the virtual floor na po.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So good morning, everyone. And this is actually my first time in career orientation. So please be forgiving. I am more nervous than reporting in a board meeting. So today, actually, I'll be discussing more on about bridging the gap between your textbooks and actually the real corporate world. So I want to start today with a reality check that you don't usually see in your textbook. So your degree gets you in the room, but your character keeps you at the table. So today I'm not here to discuss about how to get your first paycheck, but more on how to survive the environment that provides that paycheck. So right now, for those students who are graduating, by the way, congratulations. So you're working incredibly hard to get that degree, to really get that certificate, or to really get your diploma. That's actually your ticket to get into the room. So that's your ticket to get a job. So that's piece of paper. But actually, when you enter a corporate world, it's not just about entering the corporate world. It's actually the game really changes when you're in the corporate world. So it's actually staying in the table or in an organization is actually easier when you know what to expect. When you walk in a corporate world, you expect one thing and then your expectation is actually different from realities. So I'll be discussing some of the myths versus the realities of the corporate world for your future careers. So these are the four corporate myths. There are many corporate myths, but then I just highlight this four. So I call this actually a career traps. So for number one, so it's smartest employee or uh, the smartest always wins. That's actually a myth. So in school, probably you get a reward for being the smartest. But in a corporate world, it's really important to be adaptable. So the most adaptable person survives in a corporate world because technology changes, technology evolves, economy shifts, or your client pivots. So it's very important to adapt to these changes. So changes is constant in a corporate world and don't when you're in a corporate world actually, don't be just a how do you call this? Walking encyclopedia. You need to really learn fast. You need to really adapt. Adaptability makes you survive. So that adaptability quotient is very important in a corporate world, not just being smart. So second myth, your career path is a straight ladder. So it's not. So you can do a zigzag, you can move sideways. It depends on the direction that you want to go. Of course, when you're starting your career, for example, you want to be in finance. And then later on, you'll realize you want to be in sales. So you take a different route or you take a different path. So success is actually not a vertical line. What's important is you know your goal, you know where you're heading. You'll never be lost. So success, it's a collection of your experiences. So it's very important to look sideways, not just ahead, not just look up. So number three, busy equals productive. So it's not true. So those staying late, parang looking haggard, exhausted, it's not actually a badge of honor. Managers really value your outputs. So company pay for the results. It's not how many hours you work for a certain output or for a certain project. What's important is you deliver it when it's needed. So be very conscious or be very productive. You should learn how to manage your time. You should know how to prioritize your work. So if you're done within 2 hours, then that's your end of day. So learn to actually streamline the process. That way, you don't have to expend your time. And the last myth is it's the numbers. So it's really not about the numbers. You don't especially for accountants. So you don't have to be that human calculator or you don't have to be a math genius. So I'm telling your future COOs and your future COs, they are better at mental math. You know, our president actually is when we're using our calculator, he already knows the answer. He already know the percentage of changes. So you don't have to be a math genius. What you need to be is a storyteller. It's very important that you know the story behind those numbers, especially for accountants. So you become a storyteller you have to explain the numbers in a way that non-accountants understand it. So it adds value to you. It adds value to your profession if you know how to explain it to your future managers who are not non-accountants. So it's important to them to know the story behind those numbers, why there are variances in sales, while sales is down this year versus last year or versus last month, why expenses are up. So it's important to tell them the story. That way they can be able to decide what to do next, how to meet the target, and how to cut expenses. So you become a storyteller. So once you shift your mindset from these myths and accept the realities of a corporate world, you actually have an edge when you enter the corporate world. So now that we've already cleared those myths, let's talk about getting your first job. So how to land your first job. So your first job is not forever. It may not be your dream job. So do not wait for your dream job. Don't wait for a company that you want to be in to offer you a job. Actually, you need to accept the first job that offers you a chance to learn, to grow. Think of your first job as a training camp. It's actually better to have a job looking for your dream job. That way you already a start. You already have that edge in your resume that you're working in a certain company or in a certain industry that you want to be in. So take the opportunity whenever there is an opportunity for you to land your first job. So your dream job will come when you already have a job and you have an edge to land your dream job. So it's not true that your first job is your dream job. It's not always the case. There may be some, but more or less 1% lang yung first job nila, yun na yung job nila forever. So network over portals. So don't rely solely on giving your resume to JobStreet, LinkedIn. You should actually get leverage for people you know who are actually in the industry where you want to work with. You should reach out. You should talk to them. You should talk to friends, friend of friends, because networking is a strategy. More often than not, more than 60% of the jobs aren't published. Actually, employees do referral. So if you're an interviewer or you needed an employee, you actually prefer someone who is referred by your employee rather than a stranger who has a 5 pages resume. So it's better to leverage your connections, reach out to them, and they may offer you a better job than any portals like JobStreet, LinkedIn. So the interview secret, so resume can actually tell the interviewers your skills. By the way, when you're making your resume, make it as like a 2 pages resume because most interviewers actually don't read resumes that are beyond 3 pages. Well, I'm one of those. If your resume is 3 pages, I'm most likely not read the third page. Because I want to know you. I want to know your character. Because I can learn those skills of yours, trainings of yours through interview. So make your resume a one-page resume as much as possible or two. So when you're interviewing, when we're interviewing, you actually need to pass the airport test. So if you're familiar with it, so it's actually when, for example, you're in an airport and you got delayed and you're sitting with a stranger. So sitting with a stranger within a 4 hour time frame, it's like, are you gonna be miserable sitting next to that person, or are you gonna have something to talk about? You have common grounds to talk about. So that's the airport test. So interviewers look for someone they can work with. They can actually be part of the team. They can be comfortable with someone who is culturally fit with their team. So for me personally, I would rather hire a less smart person because I think that like technical skills can be learned, can be taught through trainings, through seminars. But then the attitude of the person you're gonna work with, you cannot teach it. You cannot just change the person not to be annoying. So remember, if you are that person, you should be culturally fit. You should add value to the team. But then when you got interviewed and you got rejected, it doesn't mean that there's no door open. There's no door opening for you. Actually, when I first entered Rayumar, I applied in one of their subsidiaries and I got rejected. And on the same day, I got interviewed again by another subsidiary of Rayumar and I got hired. And for me, that's a blessing. So rejection is sometimes a blessing in disguise. So there are other doors that opens for you. So be positive, be hopeful. So if I wasn't got rejected in that job, I wouldn't probably be here. And the irony of it is that that subsidiary who rejected me, I'm actually their current finance manager. So bilog talaga ang mundo. So now that you've actually passed the airport test, so you've landed a job. So what we need to do is to survive the first 90 days. So that's usually your probationary period. So the interview, once you sign the contract, doesn't end there. There is actually that extended audition. So it's your first 90 days. Usually, that's where you're being evaluated, your performance is being evaluated. So this is your 90-day survival kit. So be a sponge. So no one expects you to be expert. So on your first 90 days, you don't have to be perfect. Don't feel pressured to be perfect because everybody makes mistakes. So what's important is that on your first 90 days, you should soak up everything, not just the process, but also the culture, the environment, the people you're working with. So it's very important also to take notes because it's annoying if you keep repeating asking the same questions. So take notes. So your goal actually during your first 90 days is not to be a master, but more of a master learner. So ask questions, ask clarifications. Sabi nga ng Right Med, huwag mahihiyang magtanong. So it's okay to make mistakes during your first 90 days. What's important is that you learn from your mistakes to improve And then the second is the yes and rule. So say yes for the task, but you ask questions, you ask clarifications. So when your future COs or COs ask you to do the task, you just don't say yes, sir, or okay, I'll do it. You should actually add value to the team, like saying, okay, I'll do it, I'll do the report, and I'll create a summary of the findings. So it actually shows you are an active participant. You are an active thinker. So you are adding value to the team. You're not just doing the tasks, but you're actually doing beyond what is asked of you. So number 3 is reliability. Reliability is superpower. So simply being that person, like that person who does what they say they do, will really get you to the top 10% wherein you'll get regularized or you'll move forward. So if you're saying that you're gonna do the report at 4 o'clock, you're gonna send the report at 4 o'clock, you need to send it at 4 o'clock. And if it's in, for example, in my table at 3:30, then you'll get that you'll earn that deposit of trust from me. So next time I let you do the job, I know that I can get it. I can get the output when I need it. So when you do this survival kit during your first 90 days, you'll actually not just survive in the workplace. You'll not be just the new employee. You'll not be just the new teammate, but you're actually a person. You'll become a person that they really want to work with. So once you surpass your first 90 days, so it's about moving forward. So if your first 90 days is about like planting your feet, the rest of the year is actually growing deep roots in a workplace. So to be able to survive your first year in a workplace, you need reliability. So your goal is to be the person who never lets a ball drop. You need to be a person anyone can rely on. And next, you need to hone your technical skills. So this is the year you move from your textbook knowledge. This is the year you learn the system of the company, the new tools. This is actually your way of improving your technical knowledge and adapting what the company is using. And number 3, speed. So speed is about learning the process, learning the environment. So you don't just accomplish your task, you improvise, you improve the process, you recommend better ways, you take ownership of what you do. And if you do this, you'll actually grow faster and get ahead. So if you combine these 3, so in your first 365 days, you'll not just be an employee, you'll be an asset of the company. But with these 3 known traits, if you have to choose one, being the fastest, being the smartest, or being the most reliable one, so choose reliable every single time. Because in a corporate world, there are full of people who make excuses, who doesn't beat deadlines, but being that one who can actually simply deliver is is your greatest marketing thing. You'll be remembered for being reliable. You'll be remembered. Let's just think of it if you're both, you're in a ship and your ship is actually sinking and there are 10 people that needs to be in a boat and they need to paddle to get ashore. So I would say that if you are a reliable person, so you'll get to be chosen to be on that boat because they can rely on you to paddle the boat to get ashore. So we've already talked about how to get your first job. We've talked about moving your career. So let's talk about how you will actually build your foundation, how you'll actually be uh, in a corporate world or how to have a long-term career. So you need how to keep standing in a corporate world. So these three pillars are actually important to build your legacy, to actually have a long-term career because you don't just how do you call it? You don't just want a flash in the pan career, like a short-term career. You want to build a legacy. So you want to be in the industry that you really like. So you want to be known for something or you want to be in a position where people will remember you. So these three pillars are very important. So number one, integrity. So always practice integrity. This is non-negotiable because once trust is broken, it's gone, it's over. So if you're familiar with what Warren Buffett said, it takes you 20 years to actually build a reputation and a second to ruin it. So if you know it, you'll make things differently. You'll do things differently. So your reputation actually is your real currency. No amount of technical skills, no amount of education can buy back what is broken. So your trust is real. So trust is the greatest. Honesty is the greatest trait in building your career. You want to be the person who actually sleep at night knowing your bed was built on a solid ground or a solid floor, not on a sun. So value creation. So don't just do tasks. Look for ways to save the company time or money. So if you're in a corporate world, you ask yourself, how is this company better because I am here? So stop thinking like you're just an employee. Start thinking like a partner, like a business partner. So if the boat is sinking, you will really think of a way how to keep it up because you're a partner. You're part of the team. You're not just an employee. And the last one is continuous learning. So your degree is the start. It's your starting point. Continuous learning is the ROI drive. So the moment you think you know it all, you don't have to improve, it's the moment your career starts to expire. Because tax laws change, technology evolves, economy shifts. You must be a lifelong student. Get a certificate, enroll, improve, enroll in short courses. So the most important skill you should learn is actually how fast you can unlearn the old ways and learn the new ways. So think of your degree like a um, subscription. Like it's a test subscription. When you stop subscribing, di ba? When you stop subscribing, your services got cut off, and then you'll get obsolete, you'll get left behind. But if you keep renewing your subscription, you get the latest updates. So it's the same with continuous learning. You need to add value to yourself. You need to add value to the company. You keep learning. So with these three pillars, you'll have a sustainable or long-term career. So integrity, you have integrity, people will trust you. If you focus on your value creation, you'll get paid. And if you commit to continuous learning, company will always need. So before I end my presentation, I want to leave you with one final thought. So in a world where you can be anything, be consistent. Integrity isn't a 100-yard dash. It's the marathon that determines who is still standing at the finish line. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you at the finish line.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Miss Espejo. So, Dr. Espejo, maraming salamat po. So, guys, may tanong po ba sa ating speaker? Okay, so I want to acknowledge the presence of the Dean of the College of Accountancy and Finance, Professor Noel Bergonia. Nandito. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir. Pala, sorry naman.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, so good morning po. So, Ma'am Espejo, guys, may tanong po ba tayo sa ating industry speaker na nandito ngayon? Mukhang wala. Sige nga, patype nga ang number 31 kung wala tayong tanong sa ating speaker. Number 31 ha, mahaba yon. Para at least, di ba, alam natin kung gising pa ang lahat at nakikinig. Wow, gising sila, ma'am. So, ma'am, matatal, summary ko lang po. So, the gist of the topic, your topic is, you wanted to suggest sa ating mga estudyante na to grab the opportunity while it lasts. Tama po ba? So, grab the opportunity whether, kasi pagka-graduate mo, tama naman po, hindi naman lahat ng pangarap natin is makukuha natin in a simple click ng ating mga kamay kahit tapos na tayo or pasado na tayo sa board exam. Pero minsan dumarating ang pagkakataon at panahon na hindi natin agad or dumadaan tayo sa pagsubok na hindi agad natin nakukuha ang pangarap nating trabaho o pangarap nating buhay. So, ngayon, ang suggestion ni ma'am is, tama po, ma'am, pa-correct po ako, is kung halimbawa may dumating sa iyo na opportunity, isang company na hindi naman siya yung pangarap mong company, and yet this company can give you a job after graduation or it can lead you to your dream job. Grab the opportunity or grab the offer. Tama po ba, ma'am?
Yes, pa.
Ayun.
It can
So,
be
at
your
least-
starting point.
Okay, so yun yung gist na gusto ni ma'am maintindihan natin, guys, na syempre kahit napasado tayo sa board, pasado tayo sa nakatapos na tayo, hindi lahat makukuha agad natin in a simple click or a simple pagpatong ng toga natin. Minsan may mga kailangan tayong pagdaanan at kailangan tayong mga struggle na kailangang or challenges na kailangang i-survive. Diba? So, syempre, yung mga challenges na yun ay gamitin natin sa ating quest para ma-achieve natin ang ating dream job at makuha natin kung ano na yung pangarap natin sa buhay. So again, maraming salamat po sa ating industry partner na nandito ngayon. Syempre, our industry partner which is the Rayumar Management Inc. at ang East West Management. So I hope yung mga na-discuss nila na dalawang topic from sustainability and the other one is surviving the boardroom can help you think and can help you realize something about sustainability, that we're not just one living in this world, 'di ba? Hindi pangalagaan natin ang ating mundo sa panahong hindi lang tayo ang pwedeng gumamit, and at the same time sinasabi rin doon na sustainability na pwede tayong kumuha ng isang employment na hindi lang nakapokus sa pangangalaga sa ating kapwa or sa kliyente natin, kung hindi pangangalaga din po sa ating sarili. While surviving the boardroom made us realize kung ano po yung real world strategy to achieve our own goal or to achieve our dream job and dream life in the near future. So, in behalf of sir, I would like to ask sana the permission of Dean Noel Bergonya para siya po ang magbigay ng closing remark as the head of the College of Accountancy and Finance, our college host for today's event. So, Dean, pwede ba siya simpleng message lang para sa estudyante natin na nandito ngayon? Well, syempre, yun sa mga estudyante na nakatutok sa ating live stream sa PUP Career Center. Dinuel, a simple message from you po will do a lot of help para an inspiration para sa ating mga estudyante. Dinuel. Okay, so saglit lang habang medyo yata hinihintay pa ni Sir yung kanyang link. Okay, by the way po, yung link ng evaluation po natin ay ipopost na po natin sa ating Zoom chat. So, pwede na kayong mag-evaluate and at the same time, pwede kayong makakuha ng inyong digital certificate. By the way, po-forward din po natin yung list or number of the attendees from the College of Accountancy and Finance to our host college po. Yun po kasi yung aming naging usapan para po at least malaman din ng ating mga partner college how participant or how their students is reacting on this activity. Sir Noel? Ayan. Okay, Sir Noel, pwede ka po bang magsalita saglit? A message for our students po kasi kayo yung host college natin. Simple notes lang, sir.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Good morning once again. Naririnig po ako, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Pasensya na ha,
so-
para tong shotgun.
Yeah. So thank you very much to our dear speaker. So thank you for sharing your insights, especially to our students, graduating students, and also those are not graduating yet. So maraming salamat po for the insights to Dr. Espejo. And also to our dear students, I know it's early in the morning, maybe for some of us, and some are also in terms of their internship nasa kanilang respective host training establishment. So maraming salamat for attending this session, and I look forward for your active participation pa in the future activities of our alumni relations and career development office. Thank you very much po ARCDA for this opportunity for our students and for the college. Thank you po.
Okay, so maraming salamat din Noel at syempre atin din pong pasasalamatan ng ating mga chairperson na syempre at hindi lang estudyante at ang ating mga teacher na alam ko yung iba and host training station na pumayag na umattend ang ating mga kais-ko at kaiska sa ating event na to. So maraming salamat Ma'am Mayet, maraming salamat Sir Ryan, Ma'am Ria, and syempre in behalf of the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office, maraming salamat sa buong staff and personnel of the College of Accountancy and Finance. At syempre, hindi ko pwedeng kalimutan or hindi natin pasalamatan ang ating mga industry partner, East West Banking and Ryomar Management Incorporation, who provide us their knowledge and expertise on the following topics na diniscuss today. So, at higit sa lahat, maraming salamat sa ating mga kais-ko at kaiska na nandito ngayon. I hope itong mga bagay, ilang beses ko nang binabanggit kanina, na natutunan ngayon sa ating industry partner can help you achieve your dream future and guide you on your quest to achieve your dream job. So again, this is Professor G.S. Pulma of the Alumni Relation and Career Development Office signing off. And matani guys, I'll see you soon. We'll be having our next career talk po. If you're interested, you may join in our next career talk. We'll be having Italian, basic Italian language on May 25. So kung gusto nyong makinig or matuto how to greet in Italian, 'di ba? Malay nyo, yung iba sa inyo mapunta naman or meron kayong basic foreign language mapunta sa Italy. Pwedeng-pwede po. So again, maraming salamat mga kais ko at kais ka, and I hope to see you soon on our next webinar. So ito na po ang ating PUP-HIM. Guys, reminder, our Zoom, our evaluation is the link for evaluation is currently posted na po sa ating Zoom chat. So pwedeng-pwede na po tayo na mag-evaluate. At the same time, ipopost na rin po natin sa comment section ng live na to. Again, maraming salamat po. So ito na po ang ating PUP-HIM.